The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. The world is simple, and life is too. That statement encapsulates the radical thesis at the heart of The Courage to be Disliked, a philosophical dialogue between a skeptical youth and a calm, confident philosopher. The book is not merely a summary of Alfred Adler's psychology, but a dramatic exploration of its transformative implications, conveyed through a format reminiscent of Plato's dialogues with Socrates. It invites readers into a conversation that strips away the layers of modern neurosis, self-justification, and victimhood to propose something liberating and terrifying. Your life is your own responsibility, and you are free to change it here and now. The structure of the book. The dialogue spans 5 nights, each representing a key pillar of Adlerian thought. The youth arise combative and cynical, doubting the philosopher's assertion that life can be changed immediately and happiness achieved without external validation. Through conversation, this resistance gives way to painful realizations and ultimately to a kind of awakening. The philosopher does not teach through moral instruction, but by guiding the youth to question his own assumptions and uncover the psychological traps he has constructed. First night, deny trauma. The philosopher's first and most jarring claim is that trauma does not exist, not in the deterministic way we believe it to. This is not a denial of suffering, but a radical reordering of causality. We do not suffer because of our past experiences. Rather, we use our past as a justification for present choices. Adler calls this teleology as opposed to ideology. The past is not a script we must follow. We assign meaning to our past based on the goals we have in the present. For the youth, this is a shocking assertion. He has lived his life bound by narratives of inadequacy, awkwardness, and social rejection. But the philosopher urges him to see these as choices, unconscious, perhaps, but choices nonetheless. To change your life, you must first abandon the belief that your life is unchangeable. This is the first courageous act. Second night, all problems are interpersonal relationship problems. This chapter dismantles the illusion of individual suffering. Every emotional or psychological wound, the philosopher claims, is rooted in how we relate to others. Feelings of inferiority, jealousy, anger, even depression, are not standalone conditions but symptoms of distorted relationships. Adlerian psychology sees inferiority not as a weakness but as a driving force. The problem arises when we compare ourselves to others or use inferiority as an excuse to give up. The philosopher points out how we engage in life lies, false narratives that justify inaction. I can't succeed because I wasn't born attractive, or I can't be happy because my parents didn't love me. These stories protect us from the terrifying freedom to act differently. Third night, discard other people's tasks. Here, the core of freedom is introduced, the courage to be disliked. At its heart lies the separation of tasks, recognizing what belongs to you and what belongs to others. You are responsible for your own life, not for how others respond to it. Once you internalize that, you can stop living for others' approval. Praise and rebuke are both rejected by Adler. They create vertical, hierarchical relationships and undermine autonomy. Instead, the philosopher encourages encouragement, a horizontal interaction that respects the agency of the other. You don't control others, nor are you beholden to their expectations. This frees you to live authentically. Freedom, in this context, is not just liberty from constraint but the willingness to be disliked by others. Not because you are antagonistic, but because you no longer need to please everyone to validate your existence. Fourth night, where the center of the world is. The youth has begun to shift, but he still sees himself at the center of the world. The philosopher reminds him that community is the goal of interpersonal relationships. The self does not exist in isolation. It is shaped, supported, and made meaningful by contribution to others. The antidote to narcissism is community feeling, a sense of being useful to others, of belonging. This does not require praise, recognition, or social media affirmation. Rather, it emerges through quiet acts of service and participation. The philosopher calls on the youth to move beyond self-interest and embrace a worldview in which his value is not measured by comparison, but by contribution. Importantly, praise is again challenged. Praise is judgment. Instead, we must recognize others without evaluating them. Thank you replaces well done. Living meaningfully means dissolving the ego, not inflating it. Fifth night, to live in earnest in the here and now. The final night confronts the deepest life lie, that happiness lies in the future or was lost in the past. Life exists only in this moment, not in distant goals or remembered pain, but in the here and now. And living earnestly in the now is what gives life meaning. The philosopher claims that life is intrinsically meaningless. It has no overarching, preordained purpose. But this is not nihilism. Instead, it is a call to action. If life has no fixed meaning, then it is your task to give it meaning. You choose its value. This shift requires acceptance of imperfection, rejection of comparison, and an embrace of the ordinary. The courage to be normal is just as important as the courage to be disliked. To live like dancing, to move freely without rigid destinations, is the metaphor offered. The destination does not matter, the movement does. Happiness is not a goal, it is a byproduct of meaningful living in the present. Lessons learned. The book is a philosophical manifesto disguised as a psychological dialogue. Its most radical offering is not a technique or a theory, but a shift in responsibility from the external to the internal. You are not the victim of your past, nor a prisoner of your relationships, nor a puppet of praise. You are free, and that freedom is frightening. From this freedom comes several core lessons. You can change at any time. Right now, the past does not determine your future. Happiness is found in contribution, not comparison. Freedom is the willingness to be disliked. Praise and rebuke are traps that keep us enslaved to others. All problems are relationship problems, and they begin with how you relate to yourself. The meaning of life is not given, it is made through the courage to live earnestly in the present. The courage to be disliked is not the goal, it is the doorway. On the other side is a life lived freely, responsibly, and meaningfully. But the first step must be taken alone, without applause, and with full awareness that not everyone will approve. The book closes with the youth, transformed, stepping into the snow under a moonlit sky, finally prepared to take that first step into a simple world. His final words echo the book's thesis. The world is simple, and life is too. Action plan. This action plan translates the core philosophical and psychological insights of the courage to be disliked into a sequence of deliberate, applicable steps to help you live a freer, more purposeful life. Rooted in Adlerian psychology, these actions are not one-time goals, but practices to be cultivated daily. 1. Accept full responsibility for the present. Stop attributing your current unhappiness or inaction to your past. You are not controlled by your upbringing, trauma, or failures. Begin each day by reminding yourself, my life is decided here and now. Daily practice. Write a morning affirmation that reinforces your present autonomy, e.g., today I choose my actions. I am not my past. 2. Separate tasks. Let go of others' expectations. Recognize what belongs to you and what doesn't. Other people's opinions, emotions, or judgments are not your responsibility. Your task is how you choose to live. Weekly exercise. Reflect on interactions where you took on someone else's task. Ask, was this truly mine to carry? If not, mentally return it. 3. Live without seeking recognition. Praise and rebuke condition you to perform for others. Adler urges the rejection of these vertical relationships. Instead, engage others on equal footing without needing validation. Implementation. Replace praise with gratitude, thank you instead of good job. and practice doing meaningful tasks without announcing or broadcasting them. 4. Build community feeling through contribution. Shift from self-centered goals to communal contribution. The goal of interpersonal relationships is not approval but connection through usefulness. Monthly challenge. Choose one activity, volunteering, helping a colleague, mentoring, where your value is measured not by applause but by honest contribution. 5. Abandon the desire to be special. Wanting to be especially good or especially bad isolates you. Adler advises the courage to be normal. Embrace ordinariness as a platform for authentic connection. Mental reset. Anytime you find yourself comparing upward or downward, reframe it. Am I trying to feel superior or inferior? Can I just be me? 6. Choose courage over comfort. Change is anxiety-inducing. Your current lifestyle persists not because it works, but because it's familiar. Adlerian courage is the ability to face freedom, not danger. Action drill. Identify one behavior you'd adopt if you weren't afraid to be disliked. Take a small step toward doing it today. 7. Practice encouragement instead of evaluation. Encouragement assumes others, and yourself, are capable. Don't fix people. Believe in their ability to grow. Daily habit. When giving feedback to others, or to yourself, drop the judgment and ask, what would I say if I truly believe growth is possible here? 8. Live like you're dancing. Present-focused action. Happiness is not the goal. It is the rhythm of engaged, present living. Don't wait to become happy. Don't treat life as a means to something else. Mindfulness task. During routine moments, walking, eating, washing dishes, practice being fully present without looking for meaning or outcome. Feel time slow. 9. Dismantle life lies. Life lies are stories we use to justify not trying. If only I had more time, I'd succeed. Call them what they are, excuses. Accountability journal. Keep a weekly record of every, if only you tell yourself. Then rewrite it as a decision, e.g., I choose not to apply for that job right now. 10. Cultivate the courage to be disliked. Freedom means being true to yourself even if others disapprove. The point is not to seek rejection, but to stop being paralyzed by the fear of it. Practice. Say no to one request this week that violates your priorities. Share a genuine opinion without hedging for approval. Final reflection. At the heart of this action plan is a singular, ongoing commitment to live as yourself. That means removing the armor of justification, letting go of the need to be liked, and choosing to create meaning daily through contribution and presence. Mantra to anchor this plan. I do not live to satisfy others. I do not need to be extraordinary. I choose the courage to be disliked and the freedom to be myself.